Hey, it's Alex, and let's get you some quality new stuff in Elden Ring. Towards the very start of the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, you can find a few useful talismans, a Meteoric Greatsword, a long-range throwing spear, a hand-to-hand fighting stance, a caster sword that can also cast spells, a high defense armor set, infinite throwing blades, and some lethal perfume. Let's get into it. Okay, this first one is something that almost any build can benefit from, since it's a talisman that automatically regenerates FP, which is an easy way to have your FP topped off as you explore. This is achieved with the new Blessed Blue Dew Talisman. I sped up this footage, but you get the idea. You get passive FP regen to use more weapon skills and spells. To find this right at the start of the expansion, you're going to head north from the Gravesite Plain, which is where you start at, and then go left through this giant archway. That leads you right to some stairs, but take a left before you reach those to find a somewhat obscured path along that cliffside. Head through the next open area until you find this spot, and you'll have to take a cliffside path again. That takes you directly to the Church of Benediction, which will have that Blessed Blue Dew Talisman sitting there waiting for you. The next one is a massively strong Greatsword that might have you reconsidering your entire build. It's really good. It also comes with one of my favorite weapon skills, the White Light Charge, which is a great distance closer with a fancy AoE at the end of it. This is the Ancient Meteoric or Greatsword. Its final form has a B scaling in Strength, an E in Dexterity, and a B in Arcane. It's pretty chonky though, coming in at 22 weight. To easily get this from the starting point, head north across this big bridge, then hang a right in that enemy encampment. Go up to the edge of this cliff and you'll find a sequence of rocks that let you travel down to the lower level. At point 1 on that map, you'll need to break these spooky ghost rocks, which will activate the nearby Spirit Spring. Take that up and then you'll have to take another one to land directly in this castle. That's exactly how Siege Warfare played out, flying horses. Take the exit out the front of that castle and then pass through this opening in the mountain. Then at point 2 on the map, you'll see this big structure with some torches by it, and head inside to enter the ruined forge of Starfall Past. Ooh. Use this lever to open the first gate, and then continue progressing through this place normally until you drop down and find another gate. You're going to open that, but then reactivate it, running over to the gate and jumping on top of it to ride it up to the next level. That'll take you right to this forge you can interact with, which will give you an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone and the Ancient Meteoric or Greatsword. There's 2 other things you can find at the same location though if you look around. The Smithscipt Spear and the Smithing Talisman. That talisman increases the power of thrown weapons, and that goes perfectly with the Smithscipt Spear. On the spear's heavy attack, it does a long-range throw, giving you an effective infinite-use ranged projectile. If you don't lock on, you can arc these to increase the thrown distance, but kinda tricky to aim. When the spear is maxed out with its standard affinity, it has a D scaling in Strength, a C in Dex, E in Int, and an E in Faith. The next one you can find really close by the Ruined Forge I just showed you how to get to, which is one of my personal favorite new weapon types, the hand-to-hand. Specifically, we're going to get the Dryleaf Arts. From the Ruined Forge I previously showed, head up and around to spot 1 on the map, and you'll find an emote, May the Best Win. Then you're going to head over to spot 2 on the map to find Dryleaf Dane, who won't talk to you. If you try to attack him, he just vanishes. Instead, use the May the Best Win emote right in front of him, which will initiate a duel. Take him down, and then when you exit that fight, you'll see some remains on the ground nearby. That gives you his fighting style and his hat. Yeah. The Dryleaf Arts, when they're maxed out, its default affinity has a C scaling in Strength and Dexterity. An Ash of War I like to pair with this, called Dryleaf Whirlwind, gives the hand-to-hand weapon types a strong multi-hit spin kick. I'm primarily a Dex and Intelligence build, so I used that to apply the Cold affinity to it, which gives it a C scaling in Strength and Dex and a B in Intelligence. Love that combo. This next one is one of the highest defense armor sets that lets you take a pummeling, or at least an Elden Ring pummeling. The set is pretty heavy, but easily manageable if you have around 30-ish endurance. This is the Solitude armor set, which has strong physical damage reduction, and for a high weight set, it doesn't really make your character look super bulky or anything. It's very easy to find this set since it's right next to where you start the expansion, in the Western Nameless Mausoleum. You'll need to beat this boss though, which has a repeater crossbow, a big ol' sword, and of course that armor set that we're going to borrow, which makes him pretty tanky. Around 50% health, he's going to try to get in a flask chug, but once defeated, that'll give you the Solitude armor set. It comes default with a stylish cape on the back, but you can alter the chest piece to naked back it. Are you team capes or team no capes? These are important questions. Next up is a sword that functions as a sword, but also a catalyst to cast spells. This lets you immediately access melee attacks and casts in one hand, and whatever you want in the other hand, like a shield. This is done with the Carian Sorcery Sword. When this is maxed out, it gets a E scaling in Strength, a D in Dex, and a D in Intelligence. To find this from the starting location, head north to this castle with the lovely decorations in the front of it. Make your way through that place normally until you get on top of its walls, and in a chest, you'll find the Carian Sorcery Sword. Next are the throwing blades that work well for ranged combat, either as your primary weapon or in your offhand for a nice free throwable. The basic and heavy attacks hit at about medium range, but the piercing throw weapon skill can hit from a bit further away. This set is the Smithscipt Daggers. Maxed out, these will have a D scaling in Strength, a B in Dex, E in Int, and a E in Faith. From the starting point, you're going to head north across the big bridge, then take a right at the enemy encampment until you bump into this illuminated stone structure. This is the Ruined Forge Lava Intake. Work your way through there until you find this room with a corpse. That'll have the Smithscipt Daggers on them. They won't be needing them. And last, let's get you smelling nice before this is over, with the aroma of the perfume bottles. One of the earliest ones you can find is the Firespark perfume bottle. When maxed out, this gets a B scaling in Dexterity. To find this from the starting location, head north to this bridge again, and go into that enemy encampment to the right. In there you'll find a chest with the Firespark perfume bottle. To get a good weapon skill for this, you could head north from that first ruined forge I showed to find this crystal beetle that drops rolling sparks. That does a multi-wave blast of whichever element your perfume bottle is. I did a big deep dive into the perfume bottles in my 10 things you didn't know were possible in Shadow the Erdtree video, so go check that out after this. Actually, just go check it out right now, the video is pretty much over. But let me know if you end up using any of these pieces of gear on your character, and if the maps I made helped at all. Thanks for checking this out today. I'm Alex, and I'll see you in the next one.